Hi, this is Laveena Pinto here with you and welcome back to my channel. Today I am back actually after almost like more than a month because now I've started going back to work and actually I made a video when how I started going back to work. So that's my last video which I posted, and after that I am creating a content today that is almost like quite many days later. Now there were many topics which were popping in my mind when I was at workplace. So I made a list of it. I made a brain dump of ideas that were popping in my head. So today I chose one topic which is a part of my corporate life, like where I'm working right now. There have been a lot of changes. So I thought I should pick the things that are very relatable and which are very easy to talk for me. So I chose that topic. So today's topic is about change in the management at your workplace. Now, when I went back to work, obviously there was management change because the old management changed, not completely, but yes, of course, the top level bosses changed, and so there is a new boss who's just joined now. Now, what happens in a corporate world or any company for that matter where you're working, when you have a management change, there is a lot of stress that builds on everybody, including the company itself, because there will be a whole organization chart change. There will be a different kind of system that will be set up. The processes will change. There will be shifts in terms of the designations, or there will be change in people because people will start talking differently, thinking differently. New ideas will come up. The old ideas will have to be dumped into a dustbin, most probably, because most of the bosses don't like the old system that we have been following, and each one comes up with the new ideas. Now ultimately bosses come, bosses go, but when bosses go also it's a trouble. When bosses come also it's a trouble. So when bosses come, I think the trouble is more with the lower staff who are doing the regular operational job or the data entry or the lower level of staff basically. So based on this context, I thought I should talk about it and what are the things that I consider when we should do when we have a management change, and how we can help each other and how to cope with that kind of stress is something that I would like to talk here. And this topic is based on my experience, again based on what I see, what I feel, and what I have seen everybody going through. So based on that, it's a topic which I chose, and I hope you will like the topic, and let me know if you have any things to say about on this, and let's get started. It's very true that when they say that one thing that is constant in life is change. Now change makes your life go haywire. The problem is it's very difficult to get adjusted to the new things when they are just coming up. It's difficult to adjust with something, whether it is a software, whether it is a technology, whether it is a person, anything. It is very difficult, but ultimately you have to cope with it, and especially when it comes to corporate life or the working environment, then though you have no choice, because if you want a job to stick to it, then you have to go for it. Now what happens is when there is a management change, the whole thing that you have been following, like for example, you have been following certain patterns of coming to the office, working style, you have a different kind of meeting formats, you have a different kind of formats to update your reports, you have certain set standards. If you are lucky enough to have a boss who can continue with what you're doing, is happy with whatever is happening in the office, then you're really lucky. But 99% of the time it is not the case, because every time a new boss comes, there is a new idea that comes with him. There is a new way of working a pattern that he comes up with. So in our case, where I am working right now, that's what is happening. So we have a new boss who is young, enthusiastic, energetic, and knowledgeable as well. So now he comes up and he wants to do a lot of changes. Now the lot of changes is like a lot of changes, to be honest, from the format to the working style to the working hours to the working style, and literally everything, including people. He wants to do some changes with the people. He wants to assign people with new responsibilities. He wants to completely change the office environment from the way it was working. Well, there was no problem with the old boss who was working there, who had a proper setup again. But as I said, when the new bosses come over, they want their way to happen. Now again, having said all these, the formats and all is one thing, but there is a lot of chaos that keeps happening, right from the staff to the every employee that who works there, because everyone is all the time worried, what is that, what is this. They don't have a clear picture, because your boss is just going to tell you half of things most of the time, because he is trying to build his space in that office to show that yes, he's quite powerful enough, or maybe he's really knowledgeable and really doing some changes for the good. But as an employee, it gets really difficult most of the time. Now, in such situation, when there is a management change and you know that things are going to change where you're working, so there are some things that we can follow as a team together. Now, in my office, as of now, since there is a lot of chaos happening, and people are talking a lot of things here and there and trying to understand what exactly is happening, trying to understand what is going to happen next. But then ultimately it is a situation where you want to have a job, you want to work, you have to work. Now what changes are going to happen, it's beyond our control, so you cannot do many things about it, but ultimately as a team we can do something better than that. Now first thing is that what we have to do is what we have thought to ourselves, that at least the colleagues who are really going through this lot of changes, is that we need to communicate clearly. Now most important is communication here does not mean that sit and gossip about what is going to happen about the boss or whatever. That's not the thing, but here it's all about communicating clearly. When your boss tells about certain things, it is very important to understand what he's trying to tell, because many a times what happens, because he's the new person and he's telling a lot of ideas are coming out, we tend to be silent and assume that okay, we have understood it also, and what we are trying to tell, we assume that each other is understanding. But it is very important in this situation to be very clear enough. It is always good to be clear, and if there are doubts, to ask then and there, rather than doing that mistakes and being in that bad books, because these are the times, the initial stages are the time when you do one little thing, you will the impression will be built for the rest of the time, maybe until unless you change it some point of time. So communication is one of the real important thing that needs to be done in such situations. Management change means there will be some changes with terms of the place where you're sitting to the designations that you're holding right now. Maybe new opportunities are coming your way. Now first thing is that you have to be prepared for such changes. You have to keep in your mind that you cannot be doing the same thing over for a longer period in such situations, because people coming, the new person coming there would be expecting you to do a little bit more, would be feeling that you are doing little less, or you should have been given a different opportunity, different designation, different place to sit, different job profile or something like that. So in our company right now, that's what is happening. Everyone is getting their job profile to be changed, to be updated, upgraded, and a lot more is happening actually. So second thing is that you have to be very particular and be ready to accept the new opportunities that are coming way in this situation. Accept it. Now the new boss, if you like him or don't like him or whatever, there is no other option left with this. So ultimately you have to accept it. Now the best way is, rather than creating some kind of resistance for anything that has been offered to you at the moment, unless you have another opportunity or something else in your mind that you want to take that step or something like that, it's good to accept it and start working on it. Okay, I know that things are going to be difficult, things are tough or whatever. We have learned that things, management changes, company name changes, there are a lot of changes that keep happening in every company. In my personal life itself, we all have experienced it, and every time there are some different changes, things are happening, but we all get adjusted to it. It's the phase in that particular time that it takes time to get adjusted, but ultimately we have no choice with it. So if you want to work, continue working, then it's better to accept it than resist it. So start accepting it and it will work fine at some point of time. Change is truly challenging, so start helping others. Now just like how I feel it is so difficult and it's complicated, to be honest, to start with, but then everybody is going through the same thing in this office at the moment, everybody's worried, talking to each other, trying to understand everything, but ultimately no one can do anything about it. So it is good that we talk to each other, try to help each other, calm each other. It is not necessary that every time we come up with some vague or that cold kind of behavior in front of the boss or something like that. It's good to be calm and build a good rapport. Ultimately, you're going to work with them for the rest of the time that you're going to spend in that company, maybe, like, so try to help each other, talk to each other, and try to build a relationship, make your relationship stronger with your colleagues and team members. It's very difficult to accept the changes, and especially when there is management change like this, like, who is trying to change the entire way of working. Everybody has built a pattern of working, everybody is so comfortable in their own chair doing their regular duties. Now suddenly everything has to change, and it is too much to handle some point of time. But the fact is, the change is going to be there, and this is the fact. Actually, there is no change, there is nothing that we as employees can do other than accept it and work on it. Go with the flow, be happy with what you have. If you don't like it, look for the other opportunities. This is the only thing that, which is possible at the moment. But the market is not so great that you can get a job just like that, so it will take time and everything, like, and my company, the company where I've joined, is not so bad, like, so it's a little difficult at the moment, because the person who's come new is also excited, very hyper. As I said, he's young, so when he's young, obviously he's got a lot of enthusiasm, energy, and a lot of ideas must be to help to grow the management company and everything. So he has to prove himself at every step, so that he has to build a space there. So he's trying to do his bit by doing the best whatever he can do. Now I know his doing that bit is troubling us all somewhere, but I'm sure it'll all become okay. At some point of time, he will also start learning things, that okay, he's going to accept us the way we are, and we have to accept him the way he is. So ultimately, change is going to be there, and nothing much can be done about it. All we can do is, I can make good contents like this as and when I feel that there is something which is relatable, which I can talk about my workplace, or something which is quite easy for me to talk, like, and yes, you people can start liking my contents, share your comments, give me your views, what you think about it. How do you all manage with your change at the workplace? Like, if there's a management change, what do you all do? How do you all handle the toughest situations? You can give me some content ideas, as well as in terms of workplace, what kind of things happen at your workplace, and anything like about your side hustle journey or something like that. So you can give me anything, and show me your love in terms of liking, sharing, and commenting. If you have not subscribed to my channel, do subscribe. And this is Laveena saying thank you for watching me, and stay tuned for more such videos about the workplace, side hustle, and my life.